the book of the memorial, and my name wasn't there.
Were you told it would be?
I was under the impression that I would be able to speak. I have a full, eulogy written out for her. Maybe one day people will hear it. I think that.
Welcome to Beam Zanti, the channel that brings you hottest celebrity news. Please subscribe for more stories and hit the notification bell. Let's get into today's video.
I had gone to, see him the day after the funeral, before I was supposed to fly back to Joburg. I thought to myself, well, the right thing to do is to, like I had explained, because there was no time for closure. We had had the arrangements for the funeral. We had the arrangements for, everything. It was hectic, flying her body up, all of that stuff. So we didn't have the opportunity to sit down. So I took it upon myself to say to him, Baba, listen, let's sit down tomorrow, if you can, if you're willing to meet and if you have time. And he said yes. So I went back to their house and I sat down with him and I looked him in the eye and I attempted to give him the closure of what had happened.
What was that closure? Was it you recounting the events of the day his daughter died?
Well, for me, if I was a father, which I am a father, if something like that had happened, I would want the person who was with her to come to me and explain to me exactly what had happened. So I felt like I shouldn't just, it's the end, it's the funeral, and off I go into the sunset. I need to go to him. He gave me his daughter's hand in marriage. So therefore, I need to go sit with him and explain to him and recount to him the events that led up to this tragedy.
And what did he say to your explanation? How did he receive it?
He received it like a grieving father. He received it like a mournful father. He was upset. He was sad. He was heartbroken, and so was I.
What do you mean upset? Upset more towards sadness and heartbreak, or upset more towards not quite furious, but leaning towards anger?
I would say upset in the way that you've just lost an amazing, beautiful child that you've kind of, has gone into the world, and you've tried your best to raise, and this tragedy has occurred, and you're upset in the way things have turned out. It's hard to pinpoint to say he felt like this or he was leaning here or leaning here. He's shattered, just like I'm shattered, just like her family's shattered, just like my family's shattered.
In your statement that you've issued, you refer to innuendo both in and around the funeral, but also at the service itself. Mm-hmm. What were the comments that you found troubling during the service?
For me, it was at the time I didn't understand it. I think I have more clarity on why. I can only, like I said to you, I can only guess why. I have my own opinions why, but the innuendos were the ones of that she did not commit suicide. Also, the police minister being there, speaking, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. I can understand, maybe he's a friend of the family, but the way it was done, I felt like there was kind of an undercurrent of something didn't feel right to me.
Explain why that is, especially because not everyone watched the funeral and heard what the minister said.
Yeah.
What were you told about his presence, and what did he say that makes you now look at his presence with some degree of suspicion?
Well, I think it's strange for me because I was a husband. I had paid lobola, right? So I thought that I would have an opportunity to also speak at a funeral to pay tribute to her, and I communicated that to the family through the person on my side who was handling things, through to the family. And I got there and I sat down and I opened the book of the memorial, and my name wasn't there.
Were you told it would be?
I was under the impression that I would be able to speak. I have a full eulogy written out for her. Maybe one day people will I think that people deserve to hear it one day. But I was under the impression that I would. I also was under the impression because of my husband, because I'd taken care of because I took care of the funeral arrangements, made sure that I buried my wife with dignity, with in peace and with love and with care. So I thought I would be speaking at the memorial, but we didn't run the memorial side of things. We just took care of the burial.
I want us to clarify the issue of the police minister, so that when this there's no ambiguity around why you were uneasy with that.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. So after I see that I'm not being permitted to speak, I kind of take it in, and then I listen to the dad's kind of testimony, and then about she not committing suicide, and then the police minister wasn't scheduled to speak, but then they said something about we have to observe him and please he has to come speak, and then up he comes to the podium and starts speaking, and I just felt like there was a lot of something didn't feel right to me.
Are you accusing the family and the minister of anything?
I said something didn't feel right to me. Something didn't feel right having his presence there, along with the father saying that this was not a suicide. The two together for me didn't equate.
And did you take that up then in your meeting with Anela's father the day after the funeral?
Yes, I did. I said, I don't understand. Why did you say that she didn't commit suicide? And his explanation to me was that he wants to preserve her memory. He can't have people in the media.
Legal reasons while you go through everything that you're dealing with.
Well, for me, it's not legal reasons. For me, I've pulled out because I need to focus all my efforts on trying to find some sort of moment of peace in all the chaos. I kind of need to be in the eye of the storm, and I can't be functioning. I can't be a functioning performer. I can't be a functioning musician, recording, writing, all of that stuff. For me, I need to step away from that. And I also think on the festival side, they understand that, and they also understand the outcry and the pressure on them.
How are you finding that peace? You mentioned therapy. What else are you doing?
I'm trying to pray more. I'm really trying to pray more. For me, I'm finding it difficult. I'm angry. I find myself a bit angry at God for giving me everything. So my faith is being tested. I feel like He gave me everything, and then God gave it to me for 2 weeks, and then just it's gone. Sometimes I feel angry at Anele for leaving me here. I feel like I try and pray, but it's hard. It's hard to walk in faith now. I also am seeing I'm doing therapy every week. I'm trying as hard as I can not to go on antidepressants, but it's so lonely, and my therapist says that I'm only headed that way, the same way as Anele, if I don't go on medication. So those are the battles that I'm fighting now. Yeah, I'm trying to repurpose my life again.
When do you think you'll be able to get to a point where you can again stand in front of a crowd of thousands? Well, that's not really going to happen now with COVID, not at least until we're vaccinated, but as a performer, when do you think you will be able to get back to that level where you're ready to hit the stage and do your work?
Probably at a time when I can learn to live with what has happened. The hardest part about this is that I'm never going to forget it. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be something that I carry with me. And the only way to deal with it is to learn to live with it. And being indoors and hiding away and not living your life, that's not living with it. So it can only be when I learn to live with it, and I have no idea when that is going to be.
Just finally, before we go, not without going too far back and forth, on the media articles and police. So there's been no police contact with you since the publication of those articles, right?
None.
There are people who are going to watch this interview when it airs who are going to say, doesn't matter what you've said over the course of this discussion, this interview, they still don't believe you. They feel that you are A, guilty of domestic violence or even emotional abuse during your relationship with Anele. Some will say they don't believe that you've been entirely truthful about what happened on the 11th of April in Cape Town in that hotel room. What do you say?
Well, to them I say that we have to trust the process. We have to trust in the inquest. We have to trust in the detectives and for the law to take its course. That's all we can really do. I really have no other option than that. Is for the truth to come out, and the truth is going to take some time. But I would rather it be detectives who are dedicated, which they are, people who have many years experience on the job and who are thorough and will treat this incident with the respect that it deserves. And I just need to stay strong and get through that. As far as the people, what they think of me and what they will deduce from this interview, they're entitled to their opinions, but I'm not here to change minds. I'm here, sitting down here, speaking to you because people want to hear what I have to say. And here I am saying it.
Will you reach out to the Tembes?
If necessary, to convey condolences, on anniversary, on her birthday, you know, my interaction with the Tembes will be around that of Anele and my connection to her. I want to state that another big tragedy of mine, and the thing that really hurts me as well, is that I was going to gain another family. You know, not only was I gaining this beautiful wife for life, but I have also lost the opportunity to also become part of their family. And that hurts me very much.
Given that desire, then, don't you think you guys are due for some sort of conversation, especially with what everyone else is reporting and saying about your relationship?
I think time will tell. I think give the Tembe family, the Forbes family time to grieve, give us time to mourn. Let me find a way to fill this huge gaping hole in my heart, in my life, and give them the same time as well.
Helen Forbes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.